Hi there, guys. Well, a couple of weeks ago on one of my videos, I said that it looked like WWDC 2022 was going to be on Monday, June 6th. This week, it's been confirmed. So let's take a deeper dive into it and see what we can expect. Hi there, guys. I hope your week's going well. And this is a quick catch up on WWDC. If you've been watching my videos regularly, you'll know that I did post one a couple of weeks ago when I speculated that we'd be getting this year's event on Monday, June 6th. This week it was confirmed, so I thought it was worth coming back on and going through just a splattering of light rumours that we're getting at the moment of bits of software and bits of hardware possibly that we might get to see at WWDC in June. So I woke up to people saying that the invite looks a bit dull, a little bit boring, a little bit staid, but nope, 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 nope. I'm not having any of that. With my designer's hat firmly in place, I reckon it's pretty clever what they've done. The invite went out being called Call to Code. And of course, it is a developers conference about coding to some degree, the coding that they use to write apps to go in the App Store. And when Apple launched their software a few years ago for app developers called Swift, there you go. They've used the Swift logo from now on the invite for this event. So I think it's pretty tidy what they've done. I speculated on a video a few weeks ago that I thought the event would still be behind closed doors, despite what many were saying. And I was proven right on that with a tiny little caveat that a few developers and students are going to be allowed to apply for tickets to appear in person on the day itself. And details of that are going to be posted on their website soon. So if you are interested in appearing at the event, then keep an eye on their website. So this conference, of course, is basically software driven. We'll be coming on to hardware speculations a little bit later on, but it's basically a software event for the developers. And at this event, we're going to be seeing new OS across the range. We're going to be seeing iOS 16, iPadOS 16, tvOS 16, watchOS 9, and macOS 13. Of course, Monterey recently had an update to 12.3. There wasn't much in there. The most exciting thing was universal control, which is where you can take the mouse and keyboard and use it on multiple Macs and also on your iPad. If you haven't tried it yet, it's really worth doing. It's fascinating, just baffling how it works. It works seamlessly as well. So we're going to be getting new OSs across the range. But if you see anything such as universal control at this year's WWDC, just a word of caution, don't get too excited. Universal Control was actually announced at last summer's WWDC, so it's taken virtually a year to get to us. So some of these things they show us well in advance just to whet our appetites, but it could take just a little while for it to come through. But let me know in the comments, what sort of features would you love to see introduced onto Mac OS? Mac OS now is pretty much the finished product, so it's very much tinkering, tweaking, and adding the bells and whistles. But if there's anything that was going to be added to OS for the Mac, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below. And also, don't forget to get subscribed and turn on all notifications as well. And if you're feeling really generous, you might want to drop me a like. They've managed to keep the rumour mill pretty well locked down on software, actually, leading up to WDC. But one of the things we have heard about in iOS is widgets. It looks like they're going to be getting some love. And for some of the main apps, like music, rather than it just being a flat square icon, it's going to be more interactive now. That's what we're hearing anyway. So that you might have play, skip, pause, and volume functionality within the widget itself. And it seems it's the end of the road for iPhone 6. You're going to be needing to run iPhone 7 or later to update to iOS 16. But still, the amount of time that Apple support their hardware is absolutely unparalleled in the tech sphere. And on to the next OS now, and that is iPad. Still the weakest probably of all of the OS throughout Apple's arsenal is the OS for iPad. It just seems sadly lacking. It hasn't been loved. It's lagging in a lot of areas, to be honest with you. But one of the things that's being talked about at the moment is to make it more of a windowed kind of working environment. It's almost like a mini desktop environment. You've got to assume for this that your iPad will need to be tethered to a Magic Keyboard. And then, you know, the way you've got the quick notes down in the corner now that you can drag up and start making notes on with Apple Pencil, it's going to become more of a windowed environment, as I say, making it more of a desktop experience. That's what we're hearing about iPadOS. But the other thing, of course, and it's deafening by its silence, is the lack of any pro apps on the iPad. It's absolutely crying out for it now. It's got the M1 chip in it. It's got plenty of oomph to drive these apps. So we're wondering if finally, Apple might be releasing some of their pro apps, such as Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, to be working properly, natively on the iPad. Only time will tell, I guess. Would you like that, though? Let me know in the comments. Now, I'm not bad with words, but tvOS has kind of got me at a loss as to what I should say. It kind of just does its thing, really. I've really started to get into Apple TV, really. For many, many years, it kind of confused me what the whole thing was. I bought an Apple TV years ago, didn't ever use it much. I've still got it. I've thought about upgrading to a new 4K Apple TV, but it's not really worth it. I've got the app inbuilt into my smart TV, and I'm watching it through there. I'm really enjoying some of the originals on Apple TV Plus. I know Coda did ever so well as a movie at the recent Academy Awards, and I've just got into We Crashed as well, and I watched all of Morning Show. There are some really good programs on Apple TV Plus. You should take a look. It's not much. I think it's about $4.99 a month for the streaming subscription. Really good value for money. But anyway, all I would say is the tvOS is a little bit slow at times, but other than that, it's kind of doing its job. And now onto Apple Watch and the OS that goes with it. So there could be something interesting coming along, I reckon, somewhere downstream for Apple Watch. Not necessarily at this year's WWDC, but sometime soon. What about if it was to become available and not be tethered to a watch? It's a standalone item. It's so ingrained in society now. So many people have got them, but maybe some Android users who'd want to get to use the fitness functionality would like to have an Apple Watch, but without becoming fully ingrained in the Apple ecosystem. Well, it's kind of got its own keyboard now. It's got enough oomph. It's got enough power. What about if you could buy an Apple Watch as a standalone product and use it without an Apple Watch? Is that something you'd be interested in? Let me know in the comments. I reckon that could be the way forward for Apple Watch, for it to become its own separate entity. As to the availability of the software that we spoke about a little bit earlier on in the video, well, if you're part of the developer program, as ever, they're going to be available straight after the conference. But for average Joes like me and you, it's probably going to be more like July or August before some of these software updates begin rolling out. But I'd love to know, what are you looking forward to at WWDC in June? Is it improvements to macOS? What improvements do you want in macOS? Are you really hyped and excited for the AR, VR headset, or have you been setting your stalls out for Mac Pro? Let me know in the comments. While you're there, don't forget to get subscribed and drop me a like as well if you're enjoying this video. And all that remains for me to say is thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.